Hi, everyone. I'm David. I'm co-founder of Ika. I've been tech entrepreneur for over 15 years. Did mostly cybersecurity, AI, deep tech sectors. We've been working on Ika for the past 3 years. And in this talk, I'm going to focus specifically on this new primitive that is now available exclusively on Sui for Sui builders. We'll talk a bit about what you can do with it, why it's novel, and yeah, hopefully it's a short talk, but hopefully you have a better understanding of what you can unlock using Ika on Sui. So let's talk about Ika at a high level. With Ika, we worked for 2 years of very heavy research and then another year of implementing that into engineering, into solving some of the biggest problems in interoperability. The first problem we solved was performance. So Ika is the first sub-second signature MPC network, and it can scale to thousands of signatures per second. This is orders of magnitude improvement of anything that exists today. It also solved a very important problem that we'll show exactly how, but a zero trust security model. So today with interoperability solutions, you have to trust either a single entity or a committee of entity, and the user doesn't have the same zero trust guarantees that they usually have within a blockchain. So we solved that problem as well. And the last problem we solved was decentralization. Today, solutions are very, very limited in terms of how much they can decentralize, and we are the first solution to scale to hundreds and potentially even thousands of participants within an interoperability solution. We actually just started onboarding validators to our incentivized testnet that's preceding our mainnet, and even there we're going to have over 100 validators, which is unheard of in today's standards. So today, if we look at the interoperability and custody intersection, which is where Ika sits, we can see that a lot of the Web3 fundamentals are not really possible to fulfill, definitely not all of them in today's solutions. So if we're talking about user ownership, about decentralization, about how robust your access control can be, if it's natively multi-chain or not, and if it can scale, then we can see that we have a lot of different types of solutions today, and you have to have trade-offs between those different fundamentals. You need to choose what you keep and what you not. So you can be natively multi-chain and have very robust access control, but then you give up decentralization or user ownership, or vice versa. So there's a lot of trade-offs that developers needed to do. And with a Dewallet, for the first time, you can have all of these fundamentals directly within your Sui smart contract, and we'll talk exactly about how. So to understand how a Dewallet works, let's talk very briefly about 2PC MPC. 2PC MPC is the new cryptographic protocol that we developed. It's secure, it's decentralized, and it's zero trust. So MPC, multi-party computation, is a way to generate a signature without having a single private key. You instead have multiple parties that join together in order to generate a signature. With 2PC MPC, we have a two-party computation between the user and the network. So one share is operated by the user, so they have zero trust. They don't have to trust the network. They know that if a signature was generated, it's because they participated. But the other share is actually a nested MPC, which is operated by the Ika network consensus, the Ika network operators. It allows you to operate natively on other chains because you can access them through the basic mechanism of a signature, and it maintains the native asset security on the native chain. You don't have to use bridges, derivatives, you don't have to wrap assets. You can enforce your logic directly on the other chain. So if we sum it up, we have legacy 2PC, which is two-party computations. You can think of things like fireblocks, different MPC custodians, where the user doesn't have to trust the custodian, but it's also a centralized entity, and it can be used in, radical interoperability, like Sam said, in Web3 protocols. Then you have legacy MPC networks, which are more distributed. It's not a centralized party, but it's not zero trust. You have to trust the committee completely. And then 2PC MPC gives you the best of both worlds, where it's both decentralized and zero trust. So the way that we're implementing 2PC MPC is this new primitive. We call it a Dewallet, a decentralized wallet. And it enables you to control any asset on any other network directly from your Sui smart contract. It will require, in order to generate a signature to that network, it will require both the user and the network. So it enables zero trust from the user perspective. And the logic of the Dewallet can be enforced to non-smart contract networks, especially Bitcoin, because you're not relying on a smart contract on the other end. You're relying directly on a signature, which is the basic way that anyone authenticates to any network. So a Dewallet will have an address on every network. It's like a signing mechanism. It's capable of generating different types of signatures to the most widely used algorithms, ECDSA, DDSA, Schnorr. It's programmable through a Sui smart contract, so we'll go over that in a second. And it's transferable. So for the first time, you can transfer the entire ownership of the account. You do that through objects, and we'll explain now exactly how this looks like. So with a Dewallet primitive, it's actually an abstract primitive, right? So it's based on a two-party computation between the user and the network. It's created in a process called the DKG, the distributed key generation, where the user receives their secret and the network has a secret that's encrypted to the network key. So no one has access to the network part. The user controls their user share, so no one can generate a signature without the user. But the network share is operated through the ICA network, and the Sui protocol can basically determine whether or not the ICA network will sign a transaction. So we have a special type of object on Sui. It's called the Dewallet cap, the Dewallet capability, that controls whether or not the network share will generate their part of the signature. So you can write logic in your Sui smart contract using that Dewallet cap, and that is also why a Dewallet is transferable. You can transfer this Dewallet cap. You can then reshare the network share and user share, so the old owner has zero access, and the new owner has full access of this multi-chain account. This is kind of the basic way this works. ICA is natively coordinated on Sui, so whether it's the ICA token paying for the MPC services, whether it's the security of ICA, so doing staking with ICA tokens, and also being able to control the Dewallet through the Dewallet cap. This is all managed natively on Sui and only on Sui. So this is a new type of primitive in Web3 that won't be available anywhere else. So why build with ICA? With ICA, you have unlimited access to any network, any asset, and all of the liquidity of Web3 basically at your hands. You don't need to rely on providers that will bridge, which also creates fragmentation of liquidity. You can just control assets natively on the chains that there are. You have very strong guarantees of user ownership. By the way, ICA is very flexible, so you can choose to make the user share public and create automated use cases which don't have a zero trust guarantee. But you can also have, for the first time, a zero trust guarantee where you can operate across multiple networks but still require cryptographically the user input. As we said, it's programmability. You can basically write any type of logic, and that logic will be enforced natively on any other chain from a Sui smart contract. It's very universal, it supports all of the existing algorithms, and for the first time you can have native interoperability without relying on bridging, without relying on creating derivative wrapped assets, and that will be available only on Sui. You can join the ICA community. It's a very vibrant community. There's a lot of people ask me if we're a meme coin, but we're actually a super technical product. So I'm very excited to talk to builders here and to engage with you on our technical channels, whether it's on Discord or on Telegram. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to come talk to me. As I said, we're now onboarding validators to start our incentivized testnet, and for the first time in history, we'll have over 100 parties generating ECDSA signatures in under a second, which is very exciting. And we're going to launch mainnet very, very soon, actually this quarter. And so if you want to build something with Ika, this is the time. Come talk to us, and thank you for having me.